Hey guys, Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. Welcome back to the channel. We're here today to check out this new Makita angle grinder. I bought a whole 10-piece kit recently. If you want to see that video, I'll put a link underneath. My channel is not normally about reviews, but when I buy stuff, I like to show you guys what I think of it. I'm certainly not sponsored by anyone, so it's a totally unbiased review. Here's the 10-piece combo kit I bought, so we'll go through the tools that I acquired over the next few videos or when I get around to doing them. There's the battery pack and the charger and also a little workshop vacuum, and the rest of them is sitting on top of my heater. We're moving into summer now and I don't need to light the heater for a while. So we'll go through these tools, just show you what I think of them, a few features that I found out about them, and we'll give them a bit of a test. Okay, we'll do this angle grinder first, mainly because I have a job for it today. It's kind of not an unboxing because it's not in a box. Now, there was a couple of tools out of the kit, the drill and the grinder, that weren't actually in their boxes. I think they may have been taken off the shelf in store. They might have been taken out of this kit to show a customer. They're still brand new and everything's still here, so there's no problems as far as I'm concerned. I do need to get all the serial numbers off them and register them online, and I get an extended warranty to 5 years. And also as a bonus, they're offering me 3 new batteries. So I got a pretty good deal. And as I said, the video that I've linked underneath is what I actually scored from this deal and convinced me to buy it. Now, I've had Makita tools before. This corded angle grinder I purchased brand new probably about 30 years ago. And it's been a ripper. I haven't been able to kill it. It's done some hard work, lots of torque. But the cords are always a hassle, as we know, and especially in my cluttered workshop, I'm tripping over them all the time. So I'm really excited about getting a whole range of cordless tools. Okay, I think everything was here out of the box that you would normally get in the proper box. There's a handle for it. I'm not sure what that is actually. A tool belt clip, maybe. Looks like we have a grinding wheel in there. I don't know if we're supposed to get a cutting wheel as well. This will be the tool for it. And we have a guard. And of course we have the book. So let's take it out of the plastic. It's a really nice, feels good quality, quite heavy, but manageable. I mean, you don't want a super light power tool. And one thing immediately I noticed is that it stands up even without the battery in it. And I think that's a plus, because I've got other power tools that sometimes they stand with the battery but not without. And I like that. That's a good feature. Let's unpack these bits and pieces. The guard looks like it has a quick release. That's pretty cool. There's our tool for removing the retaining nut. And we have a grinding wheel. I don't know if there was supposed to be a cutting wheel in here. I would have thought they would have included one, but because this has been unpacked, maybe that was misplaced or went in someone's pocket. Ideally, if you're buying one of these kits, have a look in before you leave the store and make sure that everything's in its original box. I probably should have checked that. The handle, obviously we can screw it in either side. Since I'm right-handed, we'll put it on the left-hand side. And it's on a little bit of an offset. Perhaps that's an ergonomic design. But it feels like it gives really good control. So if we take the retaining up, one undo, it's a bit tight, and we have a lock here, which my old one has as well. And that's located in it. So now we can undo the retaining nuts. Okay, that all looks pretty straightforward. We better put the guard on. Now we might have to take the handle off. That's a little awkward. It means we can't remove and replace the guard without having the handle off it. So it swings around to a locking position, so I guess that's handy if the clamp comes loose while you're using it. At least the guard can't actually fall off because it has to rotate to be fitted and removed. But that's really quick. Now we have to put the handle back on. So yeah, a bit of a bugger that the handle has to be removed to put the guard on and off, but it's not really a major problem, is it? Okay, that's the base one. This goes either way, depending whether you're using the grinding wheel or the cutting wheel. I have a use for a cutting wheel this afternoon, so I've just got another, just a generic one I bought somewhere. It's the same size wheel as my old angle grinder. It's 125mm. I like this. I have seen Makita have an X-lock system where they have a special system here that locks their blades on. The problem with that is that you have to buy their blades, obviously. It might save you a few seconds in changing a blade, but I don't think it's necessary to limit itself to just buying Makita blades, because not every shop's going to stock them. Okay, we've got that locked, so we can tighten the blade up. Like so. Okay, I just looked up online, and that is a tool belt clip, but I couldn't find any mention of it in the instructions here, and I can't find anywhere where it can possibly mount on this thing. I had a quick look at the drill, and yes, there's a spot on there for it to hang, but I wouldn't use a tool belt clip anyway, so I'm not going to worry. I did notice that they sell these things on eBay for $12 or something, so might put that in the shop. I'm not going to use it. It's possible that it was left in this kit from the... they did swap out a tool for me. They took out an impact driver that I wasn't going to use and replaced it with a jigsaw. Maybe this actually was left in the box from the impact driver. So anyway, we'll put that aside. We don't need it as far as this goes. Now, it's all assembled here. We just need to plug a battery in, which I've got some batteries that have been charged. They just clip in like that, and it's a really robust unit. It's actually quite long when you've got the battery on the end of it. Again, it stands up, which is great. Really like that. Some of these I was reading, some of them do have a brake, so we'll power it up. This is the first time I've actually powered it up. Let's see how it runs. Okay, I don't know if it's a brake or not, but it does stop fairly quickly. Really low vibration. It's nice to hold, and it's not overly loud. My microphone's only a foot away from it, so it might be a bit loud through the microphone. But that sounds pretty good. I can't wait to try it out. So we do have some little filters here. These are the air intake filters, and I think they just lift out like so. They're rubberized, and they've got a very fine mesh, and that's where it intakes the air, and it blows it out through the front to keep things cool. And there's one of these filters on each side, so you would have to be careful to keep them clean, I would imagine. And also you'd have to be careful not to block off the airflow whilst you're using it. Mind you, there is an air intake on each side, so it'd be pretty hard to do that. Now that our battery's plugged in, I think we have we have three lights. I'm not sure if you can see that. So it gives us a battery indicator on there. The battery has its own fuel gauge as well, so that's great. So there we go. It feels a really nice unit. I can't fault it. It feels quality. So now, someone asked in my recent video what's the difference between a brushless motor and a normal brushed motor. It's a different motor design that allows for much more efficiency, for cooler running, and consequently longer battery life. Without getting into the technicalities, I believe that a traditional motor has brushes because the electrical energy has to get into the armature and alternate the polarity for it to run, whereas I think on brushless motors the armature or the center rotor is actually the permanent magnet and all the wiring's on the outside, so you don't need the brushes, which makes them a lot more efficient, as I said, a lot cooler, and they're less draining on the battery. So yeah, they reckon there's noticeably more power in a similar size motor that is brushless compared to a brush type. So alright, that's pretty good. I think all we need to do now is test it. I did read the instructions a little bit, and I looked at a few other reviews. There's a couple of things that I'm going to mention about this before we actually start cutting. And there's a few different options with these. This is a 125mm angle grinder. Some of them have a paddle switch underneath. This one just has a slide switch on top, which I like because it's the same as my old one. They rev at around 8,500 revs per minute. I did notice my corded one actually is faster. It goes 9,500, so not quite as fast. I believe they have a torque control in them, so that if you're grinding light metal, they sort of don't use the full power, but if you then have to grind something very heavy and you load the motor up, they automatically increase the torque to help you get through that. So there's a bit of intelligence about them. And the other thing, there's a battery reconnect thing, so a safety thing. So if you've got it on and it goes flat and you take the battery off, or the battery's off and it gets knocked on, when you plug the battery back in not knowing the switch is on, it actually won't start until you turn it off and turn it on again. So that's a handy safety feature. There has been times in my life where I've plugged in an angle grinder sitting on the bench, not realizing the switch was still on because maybe I'd pulled the extension cord out when I was using it, and suddenly it bursts into life on the bench and jumps off the bench, and highly dangerous situation. You don't want anything to start up when you're not ready for it. So I kind of like that. So it's a good safety feature. Look at that. I love that it stands up. Okay guys, I have a grinding job to do today. It's time to test out the new Makita. Here's a new gate I made out of some nice old hardwood. I used bolts, and of course the threads are sticking through too far, so I just need to trim those up before I give the gate a coat of oil. So I think this will work quite well. Let's give it a go. Okay Coco, don't burn your nose there. I've just finished trimming all these off, and I've got to say that grinder was really convenient not having a cord. I could angle it to get all the bolts just ground back level with the nuts. I didn't worry about the ones on the hinges because they didn't stick through too far, but it was really convenient to be able to turn the grinder upside down and on different angles and get to the awkward spots without having the cord in the road. The power on this thing is actually really good, and I've got to say, you actually notice when you push hard into the bolt with the grinding wheel, you actually notice the extra torque kick in. So it's like you expect it to bog down, and it actually doesn't. So I'm really impressed with this. It's convenient to use. It's going to be so good to just reach into the workshop and grab it for jobs like this without having to roll out an extension cord. Okay guys, we'll finish up the review now on this Makita Cordless angle grinder. I love it. I think we're going to have a long and happy friendship. Complaints only really that you have to take the handle off to put the guard on, and the guard is actually quite wide, and if you look at that there, I guess it's got to accommodate the grinding wheel, but with the cut-off wheel it's quite wide, and when I was trying to get in and cut those bolts, it meant I have to go on a bit of an angle. So I was actually considering taking the guard off just to do one of the awkward bolts. I know you shouldn't do it. But to take the guard off meant I had to undo the handle, even though it's a quick release guard. Just a little clumsy, I thought. But I can't fault it otherwise. The only other consideration is I haven't used one of these before, and I did a lot of bolts just before. The battery, by the way, is still fully charged, so I don't know how long the battery's going to last, but looks like it's going to give a pretty good life. The point I was going to make though was it actually made my wrist ache because it is quite heavy. With the battery, it weighs about 2 3/4 kilos. By comparison, my corded grinder only weighs 2 kilos. So they are fairly heavy. Obviously you've got the battery, but you know, it's sturdy construction, it's heavy. I like that, but it is tiresome if you've got to do a lot of work, especially when you're not used to it. But I don't think that's really a complaint. It's just a point of interest. Certainly much more convenient to be able to twist it on funny angles and upside down and not have the cord get in the road. And of course, not having to roll out the extension cord and then pack it up. So I love it. I think it's fantastic. I hope you've enjoyed this review. As I said at the start, I don't normally do reviews on my channel, but because I've bought new stuff, I'd like to share with you guys. Certainly not sponsored. I get no kickbacks at all from this. I'm not trying to sell Makita products, but I will put some links underneath for my Amazon store, because if you happen to go and buy one, I wouldn't mind a bit of a kickback, let's be honest, but I'm not doing it for that reason. I just want to share the stuff that I buy, and if I get something bad, I'm going to tell you about it. So thanks for watching, guys. We'll do another Makita tool soon. As I said, I've got 10 to go through, or 11 because I bought the trimmer, and I might as well just give a report to you guys for whoever's searching YouTube for information. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.